say the King of New York is back tomorrow, April 15th. Listen, you know I don't address nothing. I'm never gonna address nothing. Y'all believe what y'all wanna believe. That's a half a ticket right there.
The 2020s, where things go from decent to bad to worse to the absolute worst, where economic inflation and the debt ceiling has people in California paying damn near $10 for the price of a gallon of gas, to grocery stores selling bags of party-sized bag of Doritos that's filled halfway up with air, might I add, for almost $7, to multi-billion-dollar video game AAA studios having the gall and the audacity to now be charging $70 full price standard for their video games in 2022, almost 2023. And then you have somebody like me, who's 21 years old, almost 22 years old, only working $12.75 an hour at a retail job that he most likely hates but likes better than his old crappy job, contemplating his life choices leading up to this point, and also contemplating about selling drugs in order to get that Hellcat Red-Eye Charger that he just so desperately wants and desperately needs. As you probably noticed, as of late of fall of 2022, where you hear games like Madden and NBA 2K23 and God of War and Need for Speed Unbound, and obviously the number one that I'm going to talk about in this video is Call of Duty Roman numeral 2. Not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Roman numeral 2. We currently live in an age where not only are they charging $60 for these AAA studio games, but they're also charging $50 for battle passes that you almost damn near have to buy to get half the content for the game that you originally paid $60 for, but also have the audacity to be having $100 worth of microtransactions for pointless skins.
You stupid.
And even after all that malarkey and bullshit that I just mentioned to you guys right now, that's even on if the off chance of the game even works, because most days these games in these coming from these AAA studios come broken as shit.
I'm always crashing, CJ. We burn it, fool!
Taking out the pool.
And then the worst part about it, they try to hype this game up as much as they can and then reassure you that it's going to be great because they say it's, quote, ahead of schedule. And look how that turned out. And now these greedy cunts want $10 more standard for their broken games now.
I be goddamn.
And I just seriously want to know, on some real shit, who the hell do y'all think y'all are, bro? Who the hell on this green and blue earth do you think you are? Because you are not them.
You are not him. No. You are not him.
And I'm just gonna be blunt and truthful with you guys like I always do. Half these AAA studios, especially EA, isn't worth a shit. I'm just gonna be just brutally blunt right here. Like, all of these AAA studios, they really aren't worth amount to anything. Because they straight up lie to your face, they put out broken games, they charge hundreds of dollars of microtransactions and pointless skins in the latest Call of Duty. And yet I'm hearing that from sources are saying that these companies don't have to pay a single dime, not even a single cent in taxes, and they can just write off their company as a tax write-off. So not only are these people charging $10 more standard for their games now, which means that they're gonna make 10% more revenue than normal, but there is also a likelier chance that these games won't even be finished. They can get away with all this bullshit. They can get away with hiring 3,000 devs, is what I reportedly keep hearing from Blame Truth the Godfather for Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, with how many people they had to work on that game, and they can write it off as a tax write-off. But God forbid if someone like me or any working class citizen gets $600 via PayPal or Venmo unaccounted for, the IRS and the government can audit your stupid ass. I honest to God feel like Dutch van der Linde in 1899, just surrounded by men that is so in love with greed and has forgotten himself and only found appetites. And truth be told, I honestly should have taken Michael DeSantis' advice regarding capitalism. Just go to college, just get yourself a degree, and just work at these AAA gaming studios, and then you can legally rip people off, because that's what they do. That's what they do all the time. They just legally rip people off left and right, and they can't get in trouble for it. But point being, I'm just gonna discuss the main culprits that was the first to jump on this $70 train. And obviously EA, 2K, and Activision. Now with 2K, this isn't their first rodeo show, and it comes as no surprise that 2K was the first to do this, because I think it was NBA 2K21 where they started charging $70 for their recycled basketball games, but still have $80 microtransactions just to get your My Player to an 85 overall. And I guarantee you that in these newer NBA 2K games, because I have not played it since NBA 2K19, they're charging $70, but then you can spend up to $100 just to max out your My Player, just to make sure you got a chance at the My Park and make sure that you got a step ahead of the competition. And most of my OGs that's been around since my NBA 2K days with me playing My Park and raging at it, y'all know how I felt about the microtransactions and just the overall business practice that NBA 2K has grown over the years. And it comes as also no surprise that EA will be the first to do this, because they charge $70 for Battlefield 2042, and I think in other countries other than the USA. And the game was honestly one of the worst launches I have ever seen with my two eyes, but it also comes as no surprise to me, because when Battlefield 2042 launched in the disastrous state and people demanded refunds and demanded that they fix this game, you know what they did? They looked their players directly square in the depths of their soul and told them that they aren't going to be taking specialists out of the game and they're going to be putting in Santa Claus skins. But for them to be doing this with Need for Speed Unbound after taking a 3-year hiatus, after killing Need for Speed Heat in 6 or 7 months and bringing along ASAP Rocky, they're charging $70 standard. And I will give them credit where credit is due. Need for Speed Unbound looks really good. Since I haven't made a video on this officially just yet, it looks decent, but I don't think it looks $10 more above $60 more decent. And you know this game will probably not even be supported like that at launch, and it probably won't even get seasons or any type of like content like Forza Horizon 5 does. But the main culprit that I'm going to talk about has to be Activision.
Oh, sweet Jesus. And I'm not talking about Kanye West.
And the main reason why I'm going to talk about these pricks today is because they have been all over social media and just in news outlets stroking their own pee-wee, bragging and boasting and saying that Call of Duty Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2 reportedly sold like more than 800 million copies in the first week, making it the new best-selling Call of Duty, the newest Call of Duty to do that since Black Ops 2. Well, obviously it better because it was $10 more, so that's just basic common knowledge and math. And I love how they tell you all this bullcrap that they are bragging and boasting about, but they have not even acknowledged the SBMM system that fundamentally, in the grand scheme of things, sound like a good idea, but after deep diving into it, it's a system that fundamentally makes casuals like want to spend more time on the game statistically, so that's why they're more inclined to spend more money on the game on skins. And I just want to throw this in there just for the video's sake, but this is all coming off and backing off the fact that last year, or 8 or 9 months ago, I forgot when it was, but this is coming off all of Activision's like sexual assault and just overall mistreatment of female employees, and which caused the walkout of hundreds, if not thousands, of Activision employees and led to an internal investigation. But what makes me mad the most out of all of this that I just mentioned to you, even after all the victims that came forward about sexual harassment at the workplace in Activision, bad management, house party and frat party like work environments, the women working there was getting paid less than the men. And even a lady that worked and was at the company retreat committed suicide on the retreat. And still, after all of that, these bum ass, no life having ass, ugly ass, filthy stinking ass, stupid ass people forked over $70 and even some $100 for this game. And willingly gave them over 800 million, over $1 billion in the first week of the game launching.
Oh my fucking...
But the sheer amount of excuses that people give me regarding this whole $70 for games situation is just honestly making me worry about society. Because the amount of excuses that I basically had regarding GTA 5 and their microtransactions over a 9-year-old game was just nothing short of amazing. People would fight me tooth and claw and nail defending Rockstar, defending Activision, defending EA regarding their broken unfinished titles, but then they're charging but then they go around and buy like hundreds of dollars of shark cards or Activision points so they can buy the latest waifu furry skin. And I know for a fact that I'm gonna have a bunch of people like trying to justify like why these games are $70 while we're still in the middle of a pandemic and an economic inflation, and meanwhile Russia is wilding out and not even holding their own against Ukraine, let's be fair. But yet these people want to charge $70. But I'm not the one saying this crap. I'm not the only one that's complaining and making videos about this. Plenty of other people are. Like, because I looked on even the subreddit, like people were even looking on the subreddit for answers for why these games now are charging $70 for these games. Why these companies are charging $70 on top of microtransactions. And look, I don't really give a fuck about what anybody say. $60, much less $70, is a lot of fucking money. I don't care what nobody say. Do you know what I can get for $70? A lot of stuff. That's what I can get. And I know for a fact that people like Rockstar and Ubisoft, oh wait, hold on, Ubisoft, oh, okay, this is the last article that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm just going to go on this Friday evening, and then y'all can question why y'all are still watching me at this point. And according to GG Recon, it says here that Ubisoft wants you to pay $70 for their games. And of course, Ubisoft would be the one that would be jumping on this craze. I mean, let's be real, on the real, what was the last semi-relevant like Ubisoft title outside of Watch Dogs 2, Watch Dogs Legion, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Like, on the real, what was the last major Ubisoft title that people genuinely enjoyed? But anyways, the article says that video games has always been a pretty expensive hobby, buying consoles that breach the $500 mark and following up with purchases for peripherals and games themselves. New gen games are pretty culpable with new AAA titles coming in at $70 at launch and making a serious dent in players' wallets. And now it looks like this pricing is going to become commonplace, as now Ubisoft are following in EA's footsteps and stepping up their RRPs. Well, Ubisoft, you can eat my dick and call it a cinnamon stick. And you want to know what's really the sad part? I'm about to end this video, bro, but the last thing I want to talk about is that the sad part is, and the sad reality is that you're gonna have idiots that's just gonna buy these games regardless of how much they cost. Because you got idiots just buying the $100 Vault edition of Battlefield 2042 when it came out, and then 2 weeks later, after the game like released garbage and had a worse launch than Cyberpunk, like it was already like half off and having a free weekend. And then y'all wonder why I don't really look forward to these new titles now. Because not only do they lie to your face, and they expect you, not want you, but expect you to be paying all this type of money for microtransactions, but they want more money out of you just to buy the base version of the game, not even the step above the base version. Capitalism is something else, man. It really is something else, bro. Rockstar was trying to tell us something before Strauss-Zelnick took over and all the key players at Rockstar left, bro. They tried to tell us something. And here we are. Happy Thanksgiving.